What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful episode of this legendary podcast. My name is David, and I'm your host of this legendary podcast, the D-constructing Topic podcast. Woo, we making it happen. We making it happen. And today we have a heartfelt, straight from the heart, another little story here where I want to share with people out there. We have another episode where I'm just going to share a little story with you, where we can find motivation, we can find peace, we can find something in this episode. That's what I always tell people, to hit the like button. Comment and share, it means a lot, In the algorithm out there, it means a lot, believe it or not. Just don't watch it and listen to it. Please feel free to do all that good stuff. And today's topic, I just want to say this, and it's going to get a little bit definitely personal. And one of the things that triggers me is homelessness, and especially teenage homelessness. There's a beautiful young brother on my socials, on my ex, and I won't say no name for now, but he made a couple of posts in there, if I'm not mistaken, and he made a post, something where 1 out of every teenage school student in New York City is homeless. And I always want people to understand that when you are homeless doesn't mean that you're living in the streets. It basically means that you just don't have a home where you could just say it's a stable home. So in the case of myself, I got this crazy story where it's interesting that he also mentioned there's a story out there of this homeless teenager who, how can I say to you? I'm trying to find a little bit of story. It seems that he was bullied. It was 14-year-old dies after suicide in Santa Clara, California, if I'm not mistaken, after he was, bullied in a sense, and he committed suicide, self-deleted. For those out there that feels a certain way, feel free to reach out and seek some help. But I want to tell this story because that story resonated with me. 30 years ago. 30 years ago around this time, it's Thanksgiving, birthday time. My family, we became homeless for whatever happens and happened. We started living in a shelter. And it was one of those situations where I'm like, okay, what is happening? You know what I mean? What's going on? But you live life every day. I was still going to school. I was, ironically, a freshman in high school. And we're talking about 30 years ago. And I remember one day, as I'm waking up, and I woke up in a city park, in a bench, for my birthday 30 years ago, around this time. That's why I'm doing this podcast. And I apologize if I sound a little bit crackle on my voice, because, it's a little emotional, and just to think about that young man who self-deleted because he, felt embarrassed, and, the kids were bullying him. And it's, again, being homeless, it's not, if you know somebody, please help them. And if you are someone, if somewhere, somehow, and one day you're listening to this podcast, I got you. But as I woke up on that seedy bench, it was a little nice, crispy day or whatever the case might be, and I woke up with tears in my eyes. And it's just more of not like, what is going on? And I'm like, wow, I'm actually waking up, sleeping in the streets for my birthday as a teenager. And I'm like, wow. And I have 4 cents to my name, 4 cents. And I had a book bag. That's when I had my conversation notebook and so on and so forth. And I'm like sleeping here overnight or whatever the case might be. And I have 4 cents to my name. As I woke up in the morning, time passes, there was a pizza shop where the pizza, and we're talking about mid-90s, $1.25, yes, $1.25. And even $1.25, that was a little pricey. Definitely not $1 slice. You used to get $1 slice these days, but $1.25. So that means I was $1.21 short of $1.25. As I woke up and I decided, I'm hungry and I'm not one to ask for any help. So I decided, so back then, for those people who are of age, you had these payphones where you put quarters, coins in. So basically, I began to travel around New York City, downtown, Chambers Street, whatever it is, knocking on these payphones or, touching the knob, seeing if change comes out, and, they would change it. Ironically, I found $1.20. So I'm 1 cent short. And I'm saying to myself, damn, I don't want to go to the pizza shop and be like, oh, I'm only 1 cent short because I don't want the person to feel bad for me. Even though despite I'm like feeling like a certain way. It's interesting because on that $1.20, I found that $1.20 like in an hour or so. But what's interesting and the irony of things is that 1 penny, that just to find that 1 penny, I went around, I did all the payphones that I could have, hit and bang just to get some change out. That 1 penny took a little bit extra time. And when I finally found that penny in the streets where there was cobblestones that I remember, I'm trying to remember the street, if it's Spring Street, I'm just trying to remember. But I remember the cobblestones. And I remember saying to myself, still, I got $1.20, but I got 5 cents in pennies. Now, keep in mind, pennies are still a currency. I could have just gone to the pizza shop and say, here, it's $1.25. I got 5 pennies. But I just didn't, for some reason, didn't want to have the person feel bad and just be like, take the pennies out of pity. And I remember just going around and I'm starving and I'm just thinking like, what's going on with my life? And something's telling me, David, is this your life? Is this what's going to happen? Is this what you're wrestling? Are you going to become a failure, another stat? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you going to be? Who are you going to be right there? You're a teenager living in the streets, homeless. And I remember as I'm walking, there was a Arab gentleman that was selling newspapers. Back then we had like the little newsstands. You don't see them much. We read newspapers back then. There was papers with words that you read. You waited hours to read the news. Now it's, a foregone conclusion. As I'm reading, I see this Arab and he looks at me. And I remember, even though he had a heavy accent, he said, "You okay, brother?" I'm like, yeah, and I asked to see if I could change those 5 pennies to a nickel, a plain nickel, because it would be easier for me and more comfortable for me to buy that pizza. That is $1.25, that slice. And he said, don't worry. He gave me 5 cents. I went to the store. I went to the pizza shop, bought that pizza. I had no extra money to get, no water, no juice, soda, whatever. And I went and I sat down on the bench that I woke up. And I'm shaking and I have these tears, but I didn't want people to see me cry or anything like that. But I had tears. I was just wondering what the hell is going on. I'm feeling also emotional and not in a bad sense. It's like in a sense like this was meant to happen to me, that I was supposed to be homeless so that I could learn something. And I'm eating that pizza, and I kid you not, that my tears were in the pizza. Because I'm like, damn, you grew up, everybody wakes up with their birthday, Thanksgiving, with their family, their loved one, whatever. And I'm like, damn, I'm in the streets. But fuck that. I'm sorry. Forget about that. We got to make things happen. As I'm there eating that pizza, just shaking and saying to myself, what is it? What's in it for me in this situation? And I'm looking at what's going on in my surroundings. It's a shitty day. And there's like a part of me that's saying, just give up. Just give up. You ain't going to amount to something. Who becomes something when you became a homeless teenager? Who becomes something? Tell me. You don't know nobody. Remember, I wasn't born in this country. So everything that I do, it's on my own. Everything that I learn, it's on my own. And I'm saying to myself, and there's this voice like just saying, just give up. Just give up, David. You can't do it. You ain't going to amount to nothing. There's a bridge over there. Just throw yourself out the bridge. Yeah, go ahead, do it. But I was like, nah. As I'm sitting down on that bench, just having tears in my eyes, I pulled out my composition notebook because at that time, I began to write. That's when I became that artist, in a sense. And as I look up, and there you go. It was City Hall. All this time I was sleeping in front of City Hall, just about City Hall Park. I don't know how I managed to wake up, not get kicked out, but I did it. And that's when I'm looking at City Hall in New York City. And I said to myself, one day I'll be in that place. I'll be the mayor of New York City. And I'm going to make sure that people like me are helped. Because for every person that will make things happen, there are people that fall through the cracks. And I said to myself, and I promise myself, that I will never, ever wake up feeling lonely, tired, feeling like the world is ending. No love around me or anything like that, I say to myself, let that be the last time that I celebrate a Thanksgiving or whatever it is, birthday, whatever it is. Because there's a lot of people out there that need my help. There's a lot of people out there that would just give up real quick. And we want to help, and I want to help those people. That's why I'm doing this podcast, so that we can make things happen. But as I sat down, and it's crazy interesting because 3 months before that, my birthday, I was in City Hall celebrating the New York Rangers hockey team won the Stanley Cup. And I'm in City Hall celebrating. At that time, I wasn't homeless. And it's funny how life is. Within 3 months, bam, everything is, happiness is gone. 3 months. It's June, July, August. A little bit more than 3 months. But everything in the snap of a finger would have been gone. And that day when I woke up for my birthday, homeless is not there's not a lot of people out there. There's not a lot of people out there that are homeless that shouldn't be going through that problem. And that's why I look at City Hall and I said to myself, I got you. Once again, I started this podcast just to share my stories and to do so much wonderful things to help people. But on this special day, as I'm recording this, I want a lot of people to share this. And I want people to hear it. And if any time that you're feeling down, then just remember this. There's a lot of people out there that got it worse than you. And you have it worse, trust me, you're gonna make things great. But if there's one thing that I always said, I love helping people, and I dedicated my life helping people. But once and for all, I'm doing this podcast because I need to help myself. All right, everybody, enjoy the holidays, enjoy whatever it is, enjoy time, enjoy life. Again, if you need help, if you need whatever it is, reach out to somebody. Reach out to organizations, institutions out there. There's someone out there that's willing to help. I'm willing to help. I got you. For every time that somebody, you wake up, you're feeling down, ready to give up, you're ready to say, I quit, I give up, I got you. I got you. Because this is the Deconstructing Topic podcast, and I'm out of here. Just a reminder, I love you. Take care, and I'm out. Peace.